Hello, welcome or welcome back to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Here on the channel you'll find me chatting about my adventures in knitting, spinning, crochet, weaving, all of the fibre related things. Today's video is a shop talk video, so for any of you who might be new to the channel and are not aware, I run a small online yarn shop out of my home where I live in South Wales in the UK. I used to have a bricks and mortar store, but sadly the owner of the building that I used to rent sold the premises and I wasn't able to renew the lease. So back in the midst of our first lockdown in 2020, I had to vacate my shop premises and I moved everything over to an online store. In today's video, I'll be chatting about shop news for Yarn and Yarns, so if that's not something that is of interest to you, I completely understand, and I try to keep these to self-contained videos just so those who are interested can watch and those who are here just for the making can skip over these videos should they choose to do so. So yeah, if that's you, then I hope I will see you for the next video. But if you are sticking around to listen to me waffle about Yarn and Yarns for the next 20 minutes or so, then I do appreciate your time and your support. By watching the channel, by liking, by subscribing, and by supporting via Patreon and Coffee, you're all helping to help me keep the lights on here at Yarn and Yarns. So in today's video, I've got a short update for you with some ready to ship products, some new things from Emma Ball, and then I've got a couple of pre-orders to chat to you about, and then also at the very end I will chat about pre-orders for Advents because the Yarn and Yarns Advent calendars are finally here. It took me a little bit longer than I thought to figure things out and get the listings live, but they are live now as we speak, as I'm recording. But before we get to Advents, I'll chat to you a little bit about a couple of other pre-order things that are up on the website now. So first up is the May iteration of the Yarn and Yarns Fibre Club, and I've popped those listings live today, and if you've joined the past Fibre Clubs, this is the third one I've had, then you will know the format by now. Pre-order listings are live and they will remain until either the end of April or until they sell out, whichever comes first. And the theme for the May box is nesting, and the club will ship during the week beginning the 16th of May. So you don't get any other clues as to blends, fibres, colours, but the theme, as I say, is nesting. And so that's the only hint that you get. Part of the club you can either choose to receive your fibre as bats or as rolags. And at the very end of this video, after I say goodbye, I will chat to you and show you the April Fibre Club, which the theme for that one was Easter. So if you're interested in seeing the sorts of things that you might get in one of the Yarn and Yarns Fibre Club boxes, then please do stick around for that. I have only just shipped out the April boxes, so if for any reason yours hasn't arrived yet, then I'll keep that section until the end so you can avoid spoilers. But yes, May is available now on the website, and you'll find links to all the products that I mentioned below this video on YouTube. The second thing that I have for pre-order available on the website now is the summer issue of Laine magazine, which is coming. I believe the release date is the 20th of May. Let me just double check that. Yes, the 20th of May is the release date for that, but the pre-orders are up on the website now, and I'll pop a picture of the cover of the magazine on screen so that you can have a little bit of a sneak peek. But there are some more pictures on the website as well of some of the projects that are coming, and excitingly for me, this is the issue where the pattern from Sylvia Watts Cherry, my lovely friend Sylvia, who is with Cherries on Top too over on Instagram, this is the magazine that will feature the pattern that I test knit for Sylvia back in December. So I shall finally soon be able to share the sweater that I test knit because that is no longer going to be a secret. So yeah, I didn't sample knit for her, so the sweater in the magazine is not what I knit, but I am excited to have a little bit more of a personal connection to this issue, so it'll be fun for me to see that come out in print. Later in the month, for anyone who does keep track of the Laine Publications, I will be having a pre-order for the new book that's coming from Alex Bird, which is, I think it's called Modern Estonian Knitting or Modern Knitting Traditions. I can't remember exactly the title of that. I think the cover's been released, so again I'll pop a picture of that on the screen, but I'm not allowed to offer pre-orders until the end of the month, so keep an eye on the Instagram page for details on when that pre-order becomes available, and I suspect I will chat about that in the next month's shop update video as well. Please do remember that for pre-order items, if you order them along with anything else that is in stock, they will all get shipped together with your pre-order, and it will be with the pre-order that is released last. So for instance, this is not a particularly good example because the Fibre Club and the Laine magazine, for instance, are released at around about the same date. But if you did order the Yarn and Yarns Fibre Club and the summer issue of Laine magazine, they would all be shipped on the 20th or around the 20th of May when Laine gets released. So if there are in-stock items that you would like to purchase and receive sooner, then please do place separate orders for those. The same will go for when we chat about Advents later. If you do want to order Advent and you do want to order something else, if at all possible, I would appreciate it if you could order your Advent separately, because the website will combine everything and the shipping costs will be combined. Obviously, you're not going to, well, I would imagine that it's unlikely that you're going to want to wait until December for anything else that you might add to your order. So yeah, if you could please order Advents separately, and then any other thing that you want from the website, then that would be of great help to me, so that I don't have to contact you and ask for extra shipping. I would love to be able to offer free shipping, but as a small business owner who works on very narrow margins, every penny really does count. So yeah, unfortunately I'm not one of the big boys and I can't offer free shipping. I just don't have that capacity. I wish I did. And actually, while we're talking of shipping, you may have missed the Instagram post that I put up last week, I think it was. Royal Mail, who I use for the majority of my shipping, have had a bit of a price change. So first class shipping has gone up in some instances and come down in other instances. So there used to be two brackets for first class shipping, up to 1 kilo and then up to 2 kilos, but they've merged that now. So the price for smaller items unfortunately has gone up, but the price if you combine lots of items has kind of come down. So there's one standard charge of £4.45 now for shipping. So in light of that price increase, because if you're only ordering like 1 or 2 balls of yarn, paying £4.50 on top of that, it is quite a big sort of hike. It's the first class shipping has gone up by more than 50p for those sort of smaller weight packages. So I have now also put up on the website a second class postage tier, so that level is now more akin to what first class used to be. So it does mean that you'll wait an extra couple of days for your package, but I am now offering that so as to keep the postage prices as affordable for you as possible. And if you have ordered on the website in the past, you may know that if for any reason you place an order for 2 products and I can combine those, or if the website has calculated one postal rate and it actually turns out that I can get away with a different postal rate, then I will try to remember to refund any differences. Clear as mud? Maybe, probably. It gets very confusing, doesn't it? Anyway, the website will calculate it all for you, and there is now the option of posting first or second class within the UK. Okay, for other in-stock products, I had a little shipment come in from Emma Ball, and I've got a few new things. So I've restocked on some of the bits and pieces that were out of stock. So I've now got, I think all of the stitch markers are back in stock, and some of the other, like the little project notebooks are all back in stock. I think all of the drawstring bags are back in stock, including the kittens in mittens pattern, which was the one that I was finding hard to keep in stock, the new design that has proved to be very popular. But they are, as I'm recording this, all in stock over on the website now. In the drawstring bags, I have added one more new design because Emma Ball just came out with a lovely new design called Diving Puffins, and I just couldn't resist. It's not necessarily woolly related, they've got the sort of woolly puffins design, but I just really love this. There's a lighthouse, there's a boat, and there's these beautiful sort of puffins diving into the sea trying to catch their fish. But this is a new design over on the website in the drawstring bags. And then I've also expanded the tins, the designs in the tins that I stock. The new Kittens in Mittens design is now available in 2 sizes of tins, and I keep getting these the wrong way around. I think this is called Pocket and I think this is called Mini, but if you go to the website you will see in the descriptions. There is one that is hinged and the other design is a sliding lid, so that's what differentiates them. But for some reason I have a bit of a mental block on which is which. I think this one's pocket, I think this one is mini, and there's a little bit of a size comparison for you. So yes, those tins as well as some of the other designs are in stock over on the website now too. And then finally, for Emable product, this is one I'm really excited about. They have just released a new project folder. So this is an A5, is this? I think this is A5 design folder. It's a ring binding folder, and I'm waiting for a response on them. I'm waiting for a response from them to find out whether they're going to be making replaceable inserts for these. So I hope that might come soon. But at the moment, the folders are available, and on the front you have the sheep and sweaters design, and then on the back are the other woolies, so some of the alpacas and some more little sheeps. And inside are lots of sections that are tabbed off for different things. So the first section is projects, and inside the projects section there are lots of sheets of paper which are lined and have notes where you can write your pattern, your start date, your finish date, needles and hook, gauge, size, notes, all sorts of information you can add so you can keep track of your projects. And then on the back of each of those sheets, there's just sort of lined paper for extra pattern note. Then there is a second section which is called planning, and on the divider for planning there is a handy knitting needle and crochet hook conversion chart. There's also, on the back of that divider, there's also a chart where you can keep track of the needles and hooks in your own personal needle collection, which I think is a great idea. I'm forever trying to figure out what I've got. And then the sheets of paper in this section are all gridded paper, so you can again use them for notes or keep track of a design. You can make your own designs. I'll try and give you a close-up so that the camera focuses on that. The next section is called patterns, and on the front of the divider, on this bit of the divider, there are some common knitting abbreviations, and inside that section is lots of sheets of paper, at the top of which say project planner and wish list. On the front of the pages they are laid out like this, and then on the back they look like that. The next section is stash, and there's some information about common yarn weights and what size needles are most commonly used with each of the yarn weights. The pages in there look like this. So there's a heading at the top of the page which says stash content, and then there are columns which say yarn, weight, colours, length, quantity, total, so you can keep track of your stash. And then there's one final section which actually has the colour cards on. So they're narrow cards with sort of punched holes, and if you're working a colour work project then you could keep little swatches of your colours, which I think is particularly helpful if you are knitting a colour work project and maybe not using the colours in the pattern. You can keep yourself some notes as to what colours you're using for what. I think these are also really useful if you're a cross stitcher. I know it's not directly yarn related, but a lot of us are multi-craft jewel. And my mum was an avid cross stitcher, and she used to have loads of cards like this with her embroidery floss. So yeah, multi-purpose, those ones, I think. So yeah, that's the Emable project folder, and I've got a few of those available over on the website now too. So that's everything that's available for pre-order that's going to be released in the next few weeks, and also some new in-stock items. So I hope you've found something there that might tempt you to hop on over to the website and find out more. And as I say, there'll be links to all of those products below in the description box if you want to take yourself to the right place on the Yarn and Yarns website. Okay, time for a little bit of Advent chat. So this year, for the first time, I'm going to be offering some Advent calendars, and you might be thinking, oh my goodness, this is really early to be talking about December and Advent. However, these are things that take time to put together and also I'm going to be needing to ordering yarn and fibre to make up these advents, so I need to know with plenty of notice how many of these I'm going to be putting together, how much yarn I'm going to need, so that I can start ordering in the things that I need to put these together. Because this is the first time I'm doing it, I have no idea how popular it's going to be, and as I say, I've got yarn and fibre advents. The fibre is going to be a little bit more limited than the yarn, but I do have plenty of yarn advents available. So let's talk yarn first. Of course, if you've been part of the fibre, knitting, crochet, spinning world for the last few years, you'll know how popular yarn advents have been. And in the main, I think, with the exception of the opal advent calendars, which sadly they no longer do. As far as I know, they're not going to be resurrecting that this year. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. But in the main, the yarn advent calendars are often produced by some of our lovely indie dyers, and a lot of work goes into the dyeing and making of those advent calendars. It's quite a big undertaking, and I know there are many people, I've heard from many people who would love to get involved in having a yarn advent, but the prices that indie dyers have to charge to make it viable for them mean that it's outside the budget of a lot of people. So my advent calendar is going to be a little bit of an alternative. So in my yarn advents, you will be getting a selection of commercial yarns. I will be making the mini skeins myself, and you will get a selection of different brands, different colours. Obviously the joy, or one of the many joys, of receiving an indie dyed advent calendar is quite often they're themed, so you might get a nice rainbow or a nice gradient. Mine, I cannot promise, will be like that. I'm going to be producing my advents from whatever I can get available commercially, so yeah, it will be a little bit more scrappy, a little bit more mixed. But if you're on board for that, hopefully you will find that there might be something in my advent selection that might be slightly more affordable for you if indie dyes are out of your budget. This could be a good option to buy as a gift for someone as well, or it could be just for someone who wants to try out a variety of different brands of sock yarn. Every day you'll get a little package, a little mini skein, and I will be putting in information about what brand of yarn day is, so you can get a feel for some of the things that are available out there. And it will be a mix of things that are usually available on the Yarn and Yarns website, but I will also be sourcing some other things that I don't stock as standard, so hopefully there will be a good variety of yarns in the advents. I've got plenty of these available at the moment. It's going to be quite a lot of work for me to pull these together, but I do have lots of time, and it's something that I can do. I've had a little practice run for how long it takes me to wind up a ball of yarn into mini skeins, and it's something that, you know, I'm going to be able to fit in between other bits and pieces in my workday. So I've put listings up for quite a lot of advents, so hopefully anyone who wants them can snag one. When you do go over to the listings, please do take care about what you're choosing, because there are lots of options, and I know it looks a little bit complicated, but I wanted to try and make this as affordable for as many people as possible. So there are options for 5-gram mini skeins in your advent, and there's an option for 10-gram mini skeins in your advent. There is also a 12-day option available and a 24-day option available. I have also included options to have your advents with or without treats. So if you have bought any of my mystery boxes before, my Fibre Club before, you'll know the sorts of things that I like to include. Hot beverages, sweet treats, knitting notions. There'll be all sorts of goodies attached. However, I know that a lot of people have particular dietary requirements, and sometimes you get these lovely boxes with a variety of different treats in, and if you can't eat or use the treats, then it's all adding to the cost and potentially a little bit of a waste of money for you. So there are options which will, one, keep the price down, and also hopefully two, mean that I'm not sending out things into the world that maybe people don't want or don't need or can't use. So we're trying to sort of keep the waste to a minimum, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's why I've split that down, and there are options for every advent calendar with and without treats. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well. It is quite complicated, but it's also fairly simple as well. If you are interested, when you go to the advent listing, just as I say, be careful that you're picking what you want, the correct thing that you want from the drop down menu. As well as the 12 and the 24-day options, I've also added an additional option where you can attach a 100-gram skein of yarn as an additional treat. So if you were going to be opening these through December 1 to 24, you could potentially treat yourself to a 25th package, which will be a full skein of yarn to open on Christmas Day or however you're going to be opening your advent calendar. So the advents start at £25, and the most expensive one, if you went for 24 days of 10 gram minis plus treats plus a 100 gram skein of sock yarn, the cost would be £75. So they range from 25 up to 75 and lots of different price bands in between. The other thing that I wanted to do, and I've put a note about it on the website, is if for instance you did want to treat yourself to one of the top price advents, but you would like to spread the cost of that over several months, then please do email me and we can work out a payment plan. It wasn't possible for me to offer that through the website because there were already so many options. I just thought the payment plan thing would get too confusing. Yeah, if you want to go for an advent but you'd like to spread the cost, then just email me, yarnandyarns@yahoo.com, put advent in the title and we can chat about payment plans. I've got, as I say, at this point in time I've got plenty of advents available, so I'm fairly sure I will be able to accommodate you, and if payment plan is something that you would be interested in, then just get in touch. And then finally, I also have a Fibre Advent available, and I've got a narrower range of options for the Fibre Advent. It's basically a 12-day or a 24-day with and without treats, and in each package, whether you go for the 12 or the 24, you'll get approximately 10 grams of fibre to play with. It will be a variety of different preparations, so there'll be a mix of mini bats, rolags and combed top, and so you'll get around 10 grams of fibre each day. And again, it will be a variety of different fibres, of different blends. I shall be hand blending the rolags and the bats myself. There might be some natural colours in there, there will definitely be some dyed colours in there. Yeah, a little bit of a pick and mix for the Fibre Advent. Again, no particular theme, just a way to dip your toes into playing with lots of different fibres and blends and enjoying lots of different colours. I do have a smaller quantity of these available because doing the fibre blending takes quite a lot of time, and so I have to be mindful. With the yarn advents, I can in effect start preparing the mini skeins right now, because a mini skein wound now versus a mini skein wound in a few months is not going to make too much of a difference to the yarn. However, for things like the bats and the rolags in the Fibre Club, it's much nicer if they're a bit fresher, if they've been recently prepared, so they don't have a chance to get compacted or squashed or anything like that. So I should be making those a lot closer to the time, which means that I have to be mindful of how much time I'm going to have to do this prep. So there are fewer quantity of the Fibre Advents available. Okay, so I think that's everything. I hope I've been clear-ish about the Advents. There's a lot a lot of different options, like I said, to try and make it as accessible and as affordable for as many people who want to grab them as possible. But if there is anything that you're not so clear about, then please do message me. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Okay, so I'm going to sign off for today. And once again, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my waffle about the shop. I know not everyone is interested in the shop side of Yarn and Yarns, but I do appreciate anyone who is. I will leave you with some footage of the fibre that went into the April Fibre Club box. And the theme for that one was Easter. So if for any reason you haven't received your package, then you might want to switch off after I say goodbye. But for anyone who is interested, then that footage will be coming up. I hope you will join me for the next video. What have I got coming up? Oh yes, I've got a little bit of, I think the next video that's going to go up on the channel is a little bit of me sharing some of my stash, which a lot of people have asked for a stash tour, but I've got a video coming up where I share some of the things, because later on in the month it's the Wonderwall Fibre Festival here in Wales, and I'm going to be sharing some of the yarns that I bought at previous Wonderwalls that I haven't yet used. So yeah, a little bit of a glimpse at one part of my stash is coming up next, I think. And then I've got a spinning video and another prize draw video coming. So yeah, plenty more content coming up on the channel soon. So I hope you will join me for the next one. But until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now. It's about to pack up the April Fibre Club boxes. So I thought I'd share with you the fibre and the goodies that went in that box for anyone who might be interested in that. I know a lot of people ask if I will include segments which share these things, so I've actually finished packing up all of the boxes. I said I'm just about to do it, but I've finished. But I do have a representation of what went in the box. So first off, and possibly, well, of course, the most important is the actual fibre itself. Now I've got a mini bat and a couple of sort of little slightly scraggy rolags that I've kept for myself. So these are kind of representative of what went in the box, but obviously slightly smaller than you would get. So the bats look like this, and the rolags, oops, are like this. And I have actually spun up some singles from one of the rolags that I had left over. Haven't got around to two-plying this yet, but it gives an idea of how the fibre might spin up. As was the case in the first fibre box, there is a Yarn and Yarns postcard with all of the details for the club on the back, so I shall read you what it says. Thank you so much for participating in the Yarn and Yarns Fibre Club this month. I'm so grateful for your support and I hope you will enjoy your package. This month I couldn't do anything other than take Easter as my inspiration. Your fibre is a blend of 80% South American wool and 20% viscose fibre. I started with 4 different colours and was inspired to try and make a really fun fibre reminiscent of those colours you might find in a fabulous Easter basket. If you haven't spun with a blend containing neps before, it's not unusual for a few to fall out along the way, so if that happens to you, please don't think you're doing anything wrong, it's just the nature of these blends. You could try spinning your singles a little bit thicker to help you trap the neps as you go. So yeah, some of these neps do have a tendency to fall out, and the blend that I've got is quite nep heavy, so 20% neps is quite a big sort of whack of the fibre blend. So yeah, I think it's inevitable that a few might fall out along the way, but for the most part you can fairly easily trap them in. And also plying the yarn, which will be my next step for this little sample, will also help to trap the neps in. Then finally on the card it says, as a little treat you'll find some chocolate eggs to enjoy with a good old-fashioned cuppa, and I think I spotted the Easter bunny hopping into your package as I was wrapping it too. There is a bag of the English tea shop breakfast tea, English breakfast tea, and some form of chocolate egg concoction. Some of the packages have mini eggs, some have little, I think, lint eggs. I was struggling. I try and support the local shops when I'm finding the treats for the boxes that I do, both yarn and fibre, and sometimes it's a bit of a struggle to find the quantity of exactly the same thing in the local shops. So yeah, there was a bit of a mishmash, but I think for the most part most folks got the mini eggs, and I thought that was kind of an echo of the speckle in the fibre. And then my reference to the Easter bunny is I've popped in 2 cards from Emma Ball, just little note cards, both with bunny designs on, and there is one and there is the other. So I thought they would just be like a fun little addition, and they're blank inside, so they don't have to be Easter cards, but I thought the bunnies were very apt for Easter. So yeah, that was the April fibre package with the Easter theme.